we are jumping straight in again today with another swirl tutorial, the hanger swirl. This technique is so easy and different ways of moving the hanger tool will give you different patterns. So in these 4 moulds here, I'm going to pour precisely the same layers in exactly the same order in roughly the same amounts. What that means is we're going to have a layer of white, then a layer of a kind of blue-grey, and then a layer of the pink on top. The reason for that is we want to keep that consistent so you can see the different ways of moving the hanger tool in the batter will give you different patterns. In all of this batter, I have used a fragrance which is lavender and a touch of lemon essential oil. It means that the fragrance oil is not going to be quite so, for want of a better word, old lady, and just gives that lavender a little bit of a boost with a citrus behind it. Now in the top left hand corner of the screen there, you will see something black. That's actually my hanger swirl tool. Now you can buy hanger swirl tools from a lot of soap suppliers. This is actually a gear tie and it is available on Amazon. There is a link in my bio below if you wanted to get yourself, actually it comes in a pack of 2. And with full disclosure, that link is actually an affiliate link. So if you click that link and buy from that link, it just means I get a little bit of cash and you don't pay any more. What these hanger tools are basically a piece of wire coated in some plastic, these gear ties, and you can then bend that very easily to various size molds. And I like that because I've got 4 or 5 different lengths of molds. If I need to do a hanger swirl in one of the shorter ones, I can use one for short and one for longer. Now, when we get this bit done, we are actually going to look at 4 different ways of swirling the soap within these molds. Now, that's not to say that there are only 4 ways of swirling soap within these molds. The hanger swirl is so versatile. You can move it in different ways and create different textures. You can do a myriad of things with it. What this tutorial is designed to do is give you 4 basic movements of the hanger swirl tool and what those 4 motions will give you at the end of it and after the cure. And also, if you're interested in the little green molds that I'm using, they are also available from Amazon and there is a link in the bio below. So our first swirl we're going to look at, or our first motion, is the single or vertical hanger swirl, and it's the simplest swirl. And with all of these techniques, you want to try and start furthest away from you and then work towards yourself. So what you're going to do for a vertical hanger swirl is insert the tool furthest edge away from you, slide the hanger tool down towards you a little bit and up to the top. Don't break the surface, and then repeat that pattern as you move through the mold, and then try and stop at the bottom corner closest to you, pull up and then out and away from you. The next is the double hanger swirl, and it starts off exactly the same as the single. However, once you reach the bottom corner closest to you, rather than drawing up and out, you're actually going to move it horizontally through the soap, as you can see on screen. It's going to give you a slightly different pattern, and again up and out and towards you. Number 3, I like to refer to as the Lotus swirl or the flower hanger swirl. And what you're going to do with this one is basically make the shape of kind of leaves or petals through the soap up and back towards the centre. It's going to give you a completely different looking soap. And again, I'm going to pull up and out and this time push away from me. And our final one is just the random. This one is basically you are going to move your hanger swirl in any direction roundabout in the soap. So there we have it. Those are the swirls. Now, if you would like to watch these done in real time, I'm going to go through them all again. And you can see a top view of me swirling plus the side view inset. And if you're not really bothered by watching these, if you head to the 7-minute mark, we'll start then cutting the soap so you can see each technique and the pattern within the soap that has provided. So we're back now with the cut of these bars, and they've all set up, and hopefully I'm going to get these in the right order. So this one here should be the single hanger swirl, vertical hanger swirl. So let's just get it out of the mould here. Just releasing all of that, give it a little push on the top, release the pressure from underneath, and that should pop out quite nicely. These moulds are great. They're a little bit small, so you can't quite always get the suction released, but just take your time with them and it'll all come. So see, we've got a nice white on the bottom there. We've got this kind of lilac-y grey blue and this kind of light pink. And this is the vertical one. Now I'm just gonna, I was thinking of marking it up, and then I thought, you know what, let's just get it cut, because I know people like the cut. So we'll get it into our little cutter here. Now I do like this as a single bar cutter because I get a little bit more control of the size I want from them. It's a really nice little tool, this one, and inexpensive. And if I remember where I got it from, I'll leave a link in the description below. And so let's get a slice off of the end of this one so we can make sure we can really see the patterns inside. Yes, it's the vertical one. It's the one I wanted first. So you may have caught that one, but we'll show you one here in a second. So let's take our first bar out of this small loaf. And let's have a look at this one here. There we have our verticals, our single hanger tool. We're just going up and down through the soap, and you can see how it's just pulled the soap through in a little bit of something like a Taiwan swirl, mantra swirl, but it's vertical in the soap rather than going horizontally through it. I rather like that one, and it just kind of, it creates a really nice effect. So let's get the rest of this bar cut up. And the next one we'll move on to is the double, or the up and down, side to side hanger swirl. And here we have the mold for that one. Now, I've got a funny feeling this was the one that took a little bit of coaxing out the mold. So we're going to fight with this one for a second or two, just until we can get that sorted. And again, you just have to open the mold enough to get a release from the vacuum or the lock that's been caused in the mold. Just give it a little bit of a wiggle. It'll soon drop out and you'll get it out of there. But this one was going to be a pain in the bottom. So let's see if I can just prise this one out. And once again, I used the same colour scheme across all of the bars, so that the only difference was the way in which we were swirling the soap using the hanger tool. That's the only difference we wanted in this one. It really was a toughie to get out this. We're nearly there. We'll get it in a second. Come on. Come on. There we go. And we're nearly there. There we go. It's going to plunk out now. Plop. Hey, I did it. Crikey. That was a tough one to get out. So again, I'm just having a look there. Nice white. We've got that grey, but you'll see that the sides had a little bit more kind of coming through. So we'll, again, just going to take a little sliver off the end so that we can reveal a nice pattern on both sides. And the cutting tool I'm using is basically a jeweler's saw that I have replaced the saw blade with a piece of piano wire or guitar string. There are loads of places on kind of Etsy and eBay that will sell the strings. And let's just cut through this bar and see what we get in our double hanger swirl. And there we go, there's our double hanger swirl, and you can see how it's gone up and down, but then we've moved it horizontally and we've created a kind of similar look, but it's got a little more kind of a wavy pattern to it. So that's what we wanted to achieve with that hanger swirl. So we'll let these ones just get cut, and the third one is obviously our lotus or our petal swirl. So this is a standard mould. This is one of the moulds that you get from most online suppliers, particularly Amazon. And all I've done with this one to give me two smaller bars is popped a little bit of acrylic in between the two sets of layers to keep them separate. So it's given me two small bars rather than one long bar. And that's absolutely fine. I'm just going to, again, I'm going to have a little bit of a fight with it to try and get the piece of acrylic out from in between the middle. I didn't want to damage the soap too much. I just wanted to make sure that it was not going to ruin the loaves. So again, what you want to try and do at this point, rather than pulling soap apart, you just want to try and slide them apart, and that sliding of the bars apart will stop it from kind of breaking or damaging the edges. I use sodium lactate within my recipe, and if you're interested in the recipe that I used for this, you'll find it down in the description box below. Now, I'm only going to provide you with the percentages of the oils that I used. You will need to run that through a lye calculator and decide on your water discount if you're going to use it, and then any additives that you might want to use. But that is the recipe I use below. For most of the soaps I do on here, it's not the recipe that I use in my shop, and it's not a recipe that I've developed over ages and ages. It's a fairly standard, fairly medium recipe that will do most things you want to do, and it's a good basis for starting, but make sure you run it through a lye calculator. So here we are with our third one, and this was our Lotus one. I'll try and get a little bit of design on the top with just using an edge here. And then if we cut a nice bar out of this one, and this has got a little ruler scale on it that I'm just using to cut kind of 2.5 to 3 centimetre wide bars from. And cut through here. Sliding away from me because I haven't put anything to brace it, but that's fine. And here we go. Fantastic. Now you can see how like the top colour has been pulled down and through the blue into the white. So you get a very, very organic kind of feeling swirl from this. It's particularly different to the very regimented up and down ones. It takes a little bit of getting used to. I'm going to prop this up now with something just to allow me to push against. And we'll cut a few more bars out of this one. And last but not least, we have our random hanger swirl. Now, this is probably the most useful one. If something's gone awry and you just want to get a good swirl into some soap that's not doing what it should be doing, this is a brilliant way of doing that. And as you can see, we just pulled it in and around and we've pulled bits up, and it's a really nice organic swirl. And the brilliance of this one is you never quite know what you're going to get with it. So you might get some fabulous kind of fiery swirls, or you might get some really kind of wispy swirls, depending on your batter, depending on your hanger tool, depending how much or how little you do. Those are wonderful ways of creating these beautiful hanger swirls. So what's the last cut of these? I'll arrange them for you and just enjoy the rest of the cut. And there we have the 4 types of hanger swirls, but as I say, there are so many more options for this style, and there are many, many more that are shown here. If you've enjoyed this tutorial, please like the video, and why not subscribe to my channel and make sure you click the bell icon to get notified when a new video is uploaded.